Greetings, I'm Pillar Nexus, Andrew Gladiator, today with Pillar Loves Tabletop Games. Today with video number 1000 in the channel. Brass Birmingham. Goal of the game is to have the most points, and to that end, you're going to be building industry. So as part of the setup for the game, all but one space of the coal market will be filled, all but two spaces of the iron market will be filled. The various merchant tiles will be shuffled and dealt out to each of these spaces, and any blank ones are removed. Any ones that aren't blank get a beer barrel. Everybody will get their player color with their income at 0, level 0, and their points at 0. You'll get your color of industry tiles, cotton mills, manufacturers, potteries, ironworks, breweries, and coal mines. You'll get $17 to work with, or 17 pounds, however you want to look at it. 17 money. You'll get link tiles representing canals or rills. You'll have a starting hand of 8 cards representing locations and industries you'll be placing, or just cards you can throw away for your actions. You'll have an extra card in the canal round, or canal part of the game, to represent your discard pile. It's basically one less card in the deck to work with. And then it'll be just a random first player. On future rounds, if you spend money, then at the end of the round, whoever spent the most money becomes player 1 for the next round. So every round, everybody's going to take 2 actions, or 1 if it's the first round of the canal era. We'll determine the turn order, and everybody will get their income based on their level here. On your turn, you'll use cards in your hand to do actions. The only action that cares about the specific type of card you're using is build. Otherwise, you're just throwing cards away to do stuff. You can pass, but you still have to discard a card to do so. Building. You want to place industry tiles on the board by either playing a location to specifically play there, even if it's not in your network, or an industry if it's in your network, or if it's your first tile of the game, it can be anywhere. When you scout, you'll get access to wild locations and industries. The wild location cannot be used on either of the farm breweries. Otherwise, it can be used anywhere. Alright. So, to build, again, you'll need the specific location or the specific industry. And you'll need to have the money to build it. So, if we're going to build over... If we're going to play the Colebrook Dell card and build over in Colebrook Dell, it's 5 money for the level 1 coal mine. If you build a coal mine, an ironworks, or brewery, it comes with the resources shown on it. And then, if you are placing a coal mine and it is directly connected to a coal market, which would require me to link it, it'll get automatically sucked into the market. When the last token is removed from a coal mine, ironworks, or brewery, it gets flipped over. You get points, you get income increase. Ironworks have the advantage of not needing to be connected to have their iron gets sucked into the market. Anything that gets sucked into the market, you'll get money for based on what spaces it's filling. So there's an extra 2 money for doing that. Breweries only get beer based on what era it's in. So during the canal era, each brewery gets one. During the rail era, each brewery gets two. Some things may require you to have coal or iron to build, and to do that, you're going to need to be connected to a pre-existing source. So let's say we built this and we were trying to build a manufacturer here. So I have to be connected to the coal to build this at level 1. Higher levels or alternative levels might require iron instead, or iron and coal. Now let's say this wasn't here, but instead I had built a link over here to a coal market. So to build that, I could buy coal for this much money. Each coal I'd spend at this level in the market. You can always buy iron for 6 or coal for 8, even if it's empty. But having that coal mine is more convenient and also contributes to flipping it over sooner. If you need beer from breweries, if it's from your brewery, you don't need to be connected to it. If it's from an opponent's brewery, you have to be. You can pull from someone else's ironworks or coal mine as well, as long as you're connected. All right, network. Discard a card and put out a canal if it's canal era, or rail if it's rail era. Canals only cost 3 money. Rails cost 5 and a coal. If you want to use one network action to build 2 rails at a time, you need 2 coal and 1 beer. And when you build links, it can't be where anyone else has already built there, which is why setting this up early is going to help. Set up that brewery, set up that link, start getting connected to where you want to sell your stuff. Develop. You can pay 1 to 2 iron cubes to remove 1 to 2 tiles from your mat. When it hits the rail era, level 1, buildings other than pottery cannot be built, and you'll have to develop them out of your way. Development will remove the lowest number. One building per cube. You cannot develop away the level 1 or level 3 potteries. Alright, sell. So in order to flip your manufacturers, your cotton mills, your potteries, you're going to have to be connected to those markets. So connecting to Oxford lets you sell any of them. And you're gonna need beer to do it. So let's say I want to sell these. Or one of them, and we got canal here. So I've got that connection. So I can flip this, but I have to spend a beer to do it. Thankfully, there's already beer here. So we can go ahead and use their beer and get the bonus of increasing income 2 steps. In addition to increasing another 5 and getting 3 points. And then I can sell. You can continue to sell as long as you have viable things to do. So here we need 1 beer to flip this. It'll get the 2 and another 5 in the points there. But let's say I also wanted to flip. Can you sell to the same merchant in the same turn? I don't see otherwise, so I'm going to assume yes. The only thing is I need to provide my own beer to sell there. Of course, if I was also connected, up to here, there's a beer for this. But once the merchant beer the extra beer next to the merchant is used, it's out until the end of the era, and then the next era will restock it. So it's a way to try to encourage people to sell early. But yeah, if the beer's not there, you're going to have to rely on your beer breweries or someone else's. Loan. Discard a card and take 30 pounds from the bank. You do, however, go down 3 income levels. So doing a loan early is not nearly as devastating as doing a loan late. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Yeah, it's gonna be rough getting back up to that point from there, compared to doing it from down here. You could spend your early turns just taking a ton of money, and sometimes you just might have to. Finally, Scout. In addition to the card you discard for your action, you discard 2 additional cards and take 1 of each of the wild cards. You cannot do this if you have any of the cards still in hand. But that gives you some flexibility for the future, so it's another one to consider doing early. Other weird stuff that might come up. So, let's see. Overbuilding. You can overbuild your own buildings. Of the same type. Or the same slot. Let's remember. Let's look that up. Yeah, the same type. You'll still have to pay the build cost as normal. But. And. Yeah, you can overbuild a tile that's flipped too. So let's say I managed to fulfill this. I can now overbuild here by spending the cost. But now I have to actually flip it. Oh, the flip tiles don't get actually scored until the end of the era phase. So you probably don't want to overbuild unless this is better for you. Yeah. You can overbuild, spend the cost and all that, replace it. It goes out of the game. The old. You cannot overbuild other players' industry tiles unless the following is in play. You can overbuild their coal mines and their ironworks as long as they are completely empty. And only if the market is completely empty as well. So yeah, everybody does their actions. Refill to 8 if possible. Uh, Determine the new turn order based on spending the money. And then you get income based on where you're at level wise. If you're in the negatives, you owe that money. Try not to be in that position where you owe money. And then it goes to the next round. Uh, when everyone's played the last of their cards in hand, it goes to the end of the era. So, era scoring. Every link is based on what you have flipped and adjacent locations. So this one is worth 4. So let's see if that shows that. So let's see here. It's yeah. Even if it's um, someone else's tile there, you'll still you'll score for it anyway. So there's another thing to keep in mind strategy wise. Flipped industry tiles are scored after doing all the links, and it'll be based on the number in the bottom left. Anything that you haven't flipped will not score. If you score more than 100 points, record the additional points by starting another loop. If it actually gets to that point, it might be worth taking a marker to one side of the uh, score tiles to put a 100 on there, plus 100. At the end of the canal era, any level 1 industries on the board that aren't potteries, I believe, or maybe that might include it as well. Let's see. Okay. At the very least, you can still build potteries in the rail era. Yeah, all level 1 industry tiles are removed from the board. All the empty beer barrel slots on the merchants are refilled. The draw deck gets shuffled, and everybody draws a new hand of 8 cards. So the card that was discarded at the start of the game will be in the deck, and you'll finally see what that is. The rail era ends with scoring the links and scoring the flip tiles. And then it goes to seeing who wins the game. So if you have the most victory points, you'll win. Ties are broken first by highest income, then by highest money remaining. Remember that there's no income gained on the last round of the game. And if there's still a tie, those players draw, but how often is that really going to happen? So yeah, I've played this game at least once before, and uh, it's kind of just tricky trying to plan your network and then set things up to make the most of merchants. Make sure you've got access to your resources. Making sure you can afford to build or develop. Paying attention to just what other people are doing. So, why do I like this game? Probably because it's just brain burning enough to keep me interested without being overwhelming. There's been a lot of games. It's just like you're setting my head on fire for no reason. You know, Barrage was one of them. But this I can wrap my head around pretty well. I think it's not it's not too it's not text heavy. Sure, the little reminder cards have text, but you can like easily translate that. This this is pretty easy to explain to people on what the cards do. I like that the game also features an introductory mode option, and also things, helpful reminders and beginner tips. I always appreciate a game that's like, here's things to keep in mind and ideas to try out as well. But the big reason why I picked this game up and I wanted to feature it as kind of a special episode is, why is this game number one on BGG? Is it that it's a great game? Is it that people are just push it that hard for whatever reason? Ranking stuff is always kind of weird. Like, yeah, I can see a lot of strategy being appealing to inspire people to say, yeah, this is a great game. I just always hope that things don't get so out of hand with people pushing for popularity stuff that it just gets out of hand. But in general, I I can agree that this is a solid, good game, and it moves fairly quickly. It's not your action is I do this, this happens. Go ahead, and it's sometimes it's the games that are simple to grasp but tricky to kind of master that can go the distance. So, if nothing else, I say it's a great game, and I say it's worth trying. There's already Brass Lancashire, Brass Pittsburgh is on its way. Once that's that campaign's done and all that, it would be interesting to see if they try to do anything else under the Brass name. I kind of mentioned it under the Forged in Steel description. Uh, let's see if we can campaign to get Brass Pueblo, Colorado, as a game. Anyway, thanks for watching the Spiller. I will see you next time. Happy 1,000 videos. Here's to however many more I end up doing. All right, bye.